Welcome to our special conversation following Don't Foil My Plans. Here as part of the ReelAbilities Film Festival in New York, which is running now virtually. This is our 12th year of the festival. And thank you all for joining us. We hope many of you are addicted to our screenings and have been joining us all weekend. We have, after this screening, after this conversation, we have 2 panel conversations coming up and then 1 more screening today, and I'll share more information about that at the end of the panel. But just because we want to get to the panel as quickly as possible, I want to suggest that, first of all, anybody who wants to use closed captioning, if you've seen the show subtitle options on the right that we've added to the chat, we are providing closed captioning live, so you could follow that way. If anybody wants to ask any questions to the panelists, you can do that through the Q&A button. There's a Q&A button on the bottom of the screen. Just click on that. And we're going to allow you to ask your question, and then we'll contact you and allow you to ask that question live. We'll unmute your mic. Don't try to unmute yourself because we're controlling all of that in this format. We get to control.
I promise.
Justin, who is one of our participants, your mic, yours mic will not be muted. Yours will be unmuted throughout the entire conversation. I want to give also a big thank you to our partners. All of our partners for ReelAbilities are amazing to have, and great for them to be joining us every year. But especially this year, we want to thank all of our partners who have made ReelAbilities possible. I first want to thank the accessibility partner on this film was the Omnicom Group. They provided the audio description and the caption, so thank you very much. We have done that for absolutely all of our films at this festival, which is wonderful. Next, I want to give a big thank you, and this is really one of our long-term supporters and partners who you'll be hearing a lot more about because Ilene Lainer is going to be moderating the conversation, but a real big thank you to Next for Autism. Next for Autism is really one of the most amazing resources for people on the spectrum, and Ilene has been leading this field for many years. So Ilene, we're actually honored to have you here as part of this conversation. I also want to thank City Access New York, Culikid, C-U-L-I-K-I-D, Bronx Independent Living Services, American Autism Association, Independence Care System, Autism Self-Advocacy Network, and Center for Autism and Related Disorders. I also want to thank the Marlene Meyerson JCC Manhattan's Center for Special Needs, who are amazing partners on all of this. And I'm going to give a big shout out to Allison Kleinman as well, who is their director. And I think that is all of our thank yous. At this point, I'm going to introduce our panel. And I want to really thank, first of all, Ben Stamper, who is the director of Don't Foil My Plans, for being here. Thank you, Ben.
Glad to be here.
And I want to thank Justin Canha for being here as well, who you all know from the film. And I'm going to hand things over now to Ilene Lainer, our moderator. Thank you, Ilene.
Thank you so much, Isaac. And thank you for inviting me today. I love being part of ReelAbilities. And I thoroughly enjoyed having an opportunity to watch Don't Foil My Plans. It was enjoyable for me because I got a chance to peek into Justin Canha's road to adulthood and to watch his family support him as he traveled there. So one of the things I was curious about, Justin, this first question is for you. I'm curious a bit about the title. And I wondered, what did you think might have foiled your plans?
What foil my plans is, don't foil my plans because I don't want if you foil my plans, it doesn't work.
And what wouldn't work, Justin? What plans are you referring to?
My idea plan is a synonym of idea, and ideas will solve my problems.
I see. So, Justin, now you're living in your own apartment. And I
live in my mom's apartment right now is because of the coronavirus. I'll return to my apartment eventually.
So when you were living in your apartment, were you happy with what you were doing? And
I love to live in my own apartment at 56 Walnut Street is because because I love being independent, no parents bothering me, and my brother is bothering me.
I see. Are you working? Are you still teaching art, or do you have a job?
I have a job right now, but I'll return to my job in the future because of the coronavirus.
Can you tell us about your job?
The truth is, I work at Caswell School, Bradford Elementary School. I work at Supreme Bakery.
Do you enjoy those jobs?
Well, I love to work at Supreme Bakery is because the bosses and the employees are so friendly.
That's great. Ben, during the movie, I noticed that or the documentary, you used drawings a lot throughout the film. And sometimes the drawings that Justin had done were the subject of what was being discussed, but other times they weren't the subject, they were a backdrop. Although I knew they were very important to the film. Can you talk a little bit about what role you think Justin's artwork fills in the film and in his life?
Yeah, sure. Justin, before I answer, did you want to say something about that, Justin?
Oh, sure. My truth is, I draw all the time since when I was 5 years old.
Yeah, it certainly shows, Justin. Justin, I'm just going to answer this question, but you're welcome to answer right after. Okay.
Yeah.
So for putting together the film, the film really was birthed out of, for me, looking through his notebooks, looking through these composition books that were filled with these drawings that were impossibly small, and that gave me the idea behind doing the film. And so I knew that these drawings not only provided commentary on what Justin was going through, but they just provided a rich visual language that I could draw from as a filmmaker to really chart the course of Justin's road to independence.
Listen to me. It's the reason I draw on my composition books is because during my teenager years, I snuck up my drawings to school, but I think it's against the rules at schools because they have to concentrate on different topics. And additionally, being a teenager is tough for everybody because of age-appropriate, more responsibilities, and more chores. And their favorites are started to change.
So Justin, some people write in journals and it helps them work out emotions or share their feelings in a private way. Is that part of what drawing is for you?
Well, if I draw, it makes me feel better.
That's great. Justin, what was it, or how did you feel about being filmed in this documentary and having a camera follow you around?
Absolutely loved it.
Why? Tell us more about that.
Because I love documentaries, but some people preferred any movies that are based on false stories because they love imagination. The best thing about documentaries is it's based on a true story.
I see. That's great. So, Ben, in the film, Justin's dad talked about the concept of sustainable adulthood and the notion that we're all interdependent. Can you talk a little bit more about how you think the family sees that and how they've attempted to achieve this sustainable adulthood, this interdependence, and what else they might to see for him?
Yeah.
Well, my truth is, seeing adulthood.
Justin, one sec, Justin. I'm just gonna quickly answer this question.
And then I'll follow up with you, Justin.
Yeah. that was a really important point for me to include in the film, which is Brian's commentary on this idea of sustainable independence, where it's not enough to just have Justin move into his own apartment. It has to be sustainable. It has to be something that is not just Justin receiving services as an individual from society. It's really the give and take, the two-way road that enables sustainable independence. And I've seen Justin's family navigate that incredibly well, where they really, in so many ways, have been pioneers with Justin. Where Maria Teresa, Justin's mother, describes throughout the film that they had no roadmap. When Justin was diagnosed, there was nothing there weren't the services that there are now, or someone pointing them in a direction. They really had to just be pioneers in forging new pathways for Justin. And so in terms of sustainable living and sustainable independence, that's something that they have an enormous amount of creativity in really seeing Justin as someone who is an incredible contributor to society on so many levels. And Justin's not going to wait around for anybody. He's just going to do his thing. And that's really a mantra that I've heard the family say over and over, that Justin isn't sitting here waiting to be helped. He's just going to go, and he's going to like wow the world with his talent and incredible personality and his humor, and we have to catch up to him. And that's really been the driving force I've seen with his parents and his brother, in trying to just help him launch well.
Great. Justin,
Mm?
I can tell from the film that your artwork is a really important part of how you give to the world. Are there other things that you want to do, or other things you see yourself doing?
Well, I love to draw. Well, I draw all the time, and if I draw, it makes me feel good and positive. And when I draw ink with black ink and watercolor paint, it makes me feel better. It brings it to life.
That's wonderful. Ben, in the film, I saw that Justin's brother was talked about but not focused on. And you didn't seem to explore the role that seemed critical to Justin's journey. For example, it seemed like Justin and his brother lived together for a 2-year period before Justin moved into his own apartment.
That's right.
And so I was wondering, I'm going to ask Ben first and then Justin second. Ben, can you talk a little bit about the part you think, or the family thinks, that Justin's brother played in Justin's role to the sustainable adulthood? And then Justin, I'm going to want to hear from you.
Yeah, that was a very difficult decision in me editing the film, to decide to not focus on Justin's relationship with Julian, his brother. But
because Julian's my serious roommate. Julian's my serious roommate, and Kelsey was my fun roommate.
Yeah, Justin, after I answer, you'll have to talk more about that, because I love the way you talk about that. Julian he really provided a stepping stone for Justin in being his roommate, his next stop out once he left the house, that where Justin could have an environment that was where he wasn't just launching out into being completely independent at first, but there was a transition period, and Julian was able to provide that. And so he was critical in allowing this transition phase to happen. And he's been, I love watching their relationship, and that is something that I did do a fair amount of filming but in the edit and the rhythm of the edit, I decided to back off from that relationship just so that I could focus more on Justin's art.
You see. Justin, you mentioned that you had 2 roommates, and I didn't know that. You had a fun roommate and a serious roommate. Do you want to say a little bit about that?
Julian was my serious roommate, and Kelsey was my fun roommate. And Kelsey is a wonderful woman, and Kelsey always loved Netflix, and she loves she loves Brussels sprouts. She loves Nutella and the peanut butter, and and Kelsey is a hapless babysitter to Melissa's kids, Max and Leo.
And who are Max and Leo?
Melissa wishes sons. Max is sweet, but Leo is a stubborn boy. And the funny story of Kelsey is she's tried to babysit Leo, but Leo is stubborn, and Kelsey and Leo. And so the funny story of Leo is Leo hates Kelsey because Leo hates to be disciplined, and I'm so proud of Kelsey as being a babysitter.
So this is the last question I have for you, and then I'd like to open it up to the audience to ask you questions. But the question I have for you, Justin, is, do you have other things that you know you want to do as an adult? Are there things that you wish for?
If I'm an adult, I would absolutely love go walk to the bakery Independence, and I took the public transportation independently, and I did a great job of moderation on the food and of course money and the internet too.
That's great. Justin, I think we're going to turn this over to the audience because many of the people who are listening have questions they want to ask you. So thank you for letting me talk with you. And the audience is going to chime in now and start asking you things.
Anytime, Lainer.
Thanks, Justin.
Anytime. Okay.
So I'm not sure how this works. I think they unmute the audience mics and allow the audience to ask the question.
That's great.
Sorry. Oh, I see Yara's. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I just wasn't sure if I was allowed to ask, right, or not. So, Justin, my question for you is there anything that you want to let other autistic people know?
Yeah. I think so.
And what would that be?
Well, I really don't know.
That's okay.
We're going to have someone else ask the next question. Liz, did you want to ask the next question? We can unmute your mic.
Go ahead.
Yeah, hi Justin. My name is Liz. And I was wondering how it was when you were a lot younger with your brother and your sister, because it seemed like in the movie.
I don't have a sister.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I guess then when you were little with your brother, how was that? Like.
Oh, Justin, I think your mic is muted. Can you unmute your mic there, Justin?
It's unmute now.
Great.
Yeah.
So,
do you
remember, Justin, when you were younger, how it felt like to have a brother?
Well, I'm brave. I'm brave of being independent.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, when you were younger, when you were little, what was it like to have a brother?
Sometimes I hate to be teased by my brother because I'm younger than Julian.
Mm. Were there any times when he maybe stuck up for you though? Or
I don't know.
okay, thanks. I really like the film, Justin.
Thank you. Okay.
Hi, my name is Ben Sharif. First I want to thank everybody involved with the film for making such a beautiful film, and everyone involved with ReelAbilities for allowing this interaction to happen and for showcasing this film. My first question is for Justin. Were there experiences that were difficult or unexpected when you moved into live on your own? And if so, how did you go about resolving those difficult situations?
Well, on December 9th, 2016, I finally moved to my apartment, and I felt good riddance. Because 56 Walnut, because I live with my brother, it's so unaffordable, and I cannot take it anymore.
Okay. Were there things that you didn't expect when you moved in that happened, or was it went according to your plans?
When I moved in, I felt good riddance, and I'm totally independent. Finally.
Congratulations, that's awesome. Good for you. And then my next question, I guess, is for Ben. I was very impressed by the style behind the film. Especially, I loved the way you captured a lot of these intimate shots of hands drawing, or the shots of Justin, grazing the leg of the baby deer in the petting zoo. It's really stunning work. I was curious about what your production process was like. Was it one camera? Were you shooting at periods of time over the course of years? What was production like for you?
Yeah, thanks for that. Everything was one camera, and yeah, I would. It was over the course of 5 years, and it was very much just in fits and starts for a lot of the time, but certainly when there would be important things that would take place, making sure I'm there with the camera. But also in just the everyday, that was really where I think a lot of the unexpected moments would happen, is the seemingly mundane moments would suddenly be filled with really great significance. And so that became a huge factor in collecting the footage. The shooting ratio is about 10-1 for this film. So a lot of hours that didn't end up being used, but yeah, so that's kind of, it was just trying to be as much of a fly on the wall as possible.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Susan, you're unmuted, and we're available to hear your question.
Hi, Justin. This is Susan. There are a couple of scenes when with you and your dad, or sometimes with your dad on his own, when he was out boating, and I was just wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about that. Is that something you do a lot? Do you like being on the boat?
Well, I like to row, and I thought something my father moved out because maybe my father lost his job, and I'm so proud of my dad because he found his job outside of Montclair.
Is that where you guys go boating?
No.
Is it something you get to do together with your father, and that's how you spend time with him?
Well, Well, I don't know, but I'm so proud of my father had moved out from Montclair because maybe he lost his job.
Okay.
Justin, do you know if Justin, do you know if your dad still does rowing?
He does rowing.
And do you sometimes still go with him?
Well, I used to, but my father moved out.
Right, right. But he still goes rowing?
Yes, he does go rowing. Yeah, he does goes rowing.
Yeah.
We have a couple more questions that we're gonna ask. Let me ask a question here that came from Laurence Sterne. Justin, how about publishing a book of your fabulous drawings and beautiful pictures like the one behind you? Maybe some narratives and stories to go with your drawings. Maybe an illustrated autobiography. You're very talented. You're so talented and insightful.
What?
Have you considered publishing a book of your drawings?
Well, I don't know about that, publishing that book.
Okay. Should we take the next question from Kunal? Kunal?
Go ahead, next question, please.
You're unmuted.
Yes, Justin, thank you for that amazing film. You are such a talented individual. Can you tell us just what you are most proud about? Just what you are most proud about your about yourself for achieving.
I'm proud to be independent.
Okay, great. Thank you.
We're going to take one last question from Fran. Here we go.
Go ahead.
She needs to be unmuted. I notice she's still on mute. Fran, I'm going to ask the question since I don't know what the technical problems are. But Justin, I was very moved when you said, "I love my life. It is rare for any person to achieve." Who or what do you think was most important that helps you to get to that place?
Most important, well, independence is my goal, and it's nice I'm being independent. For example,
yeah.
when teenagers change into grown-ups, they'll move separately from family for independence.
Who was most influential in giving you this independence? Who do you think of?
I don't know.
Okay. Thank you, Justin. Before we finish up, I wanted to ask actually Ben and Eileen one last question. Ben, what's next for you? And how do people get to see this film? Eileen, I'm going to ask you just to tell our audience a little bit about Next for Autism. Ben, you're first.
Yeah, well, as often happens with independent filmmakers, you have your hands in many projects at once, and they're all sort of swirling around, and you're working on many projects a little bit at a time. So that's sort of what's happening with me, and I'm working on something that's more of it's sort of a hybrid between a documentary and narrative film about my relationship with my father growing up, and there's a lot in that film that's something that's been in development for a while, and that's one that's close to my heart. So that's something that's in the works. But yeah, just a lot of other smaller projects that are out there right now in various stages of development. But in terms of this film, yeah, just right now it's just available through amazing festivals like this one, who are gracious enough to stream it during this crazy time. So, but eventually, we're hoping to be able to make it accessible to everyone. So we're looking at different options on how to best do that.
Eileen, over to you.
Thank you. So Next for Autism is a program that strategically designs innovative programs that will improve supports for people with autism or opportunities for people with autism so that they can achieve better, happier lives. Right now, or at least the last couple of years, we've been focused on adults with autism and done a lot of work in the employment space, both with individuals with autism to transition to adulthood and give them the opportunities to learn about working and get jobs. And we also have worked with companies to help teach those companies how they can enhance their practices so that they're more able to hire and support individuals with autism to be successful in the workplace. Right now, because of the COVID-19 crisis, we have pivoted a little, and we are focused on providing tactical support to other organizations that are trying to deliver services remotely to individuals. And we've also pivoted to trying to provide information online, tips for, we just published a piece on tips for adults with autism, and a relief fund to try and support some adults with autism who are disconnected and don't have the tools they need during this difficult time. But our real goal when this crisis ends, and we hope it will end for everyone soon, is to focus on developing those programs and supports for adults with autism. And we do that by working in partnership with other fabulous community-based organizations out there, one of which actually is the JCC in Manhattan. So we work with lots of different organizations and seek to increase their capacity. It's a passion. I love it. And look forward to more in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Eileen. And you guys do wonderful work. The best place to find out more information about Next for Autism is nextforautism.org.
Yes, exactly. And for right now, anybody who wants to support people who are out there that are disconnected and don't have the tools they want, we are raising money for relief funds to get out there to people to help them during this difficult time.
That's amazing. Ben, where can people find out more information about how to follow your film? What's the best place for that?
Yeah, I have a website that has a lot of my work up on it. It's called benstamperpictures.com, and they can find the trailer for this film and several other films as well.
Fabulous. And Justin, just one last question, because one popped up in the Q&A. What is your favorite character to draw, and what inspires you to draw things that are not characters?
Well, they're not non-characters. I love to draw animals. For characters, I love to draw the characters from Sesame Street, Looney Tunes, and Disney.
Fabulous. That question was from Susan Velasquez, so credit to her. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I want to give a big thank you to Ilene Lainer for moderating this conversation, Ben Stamper, the director, and Justin Canha, the person who's in the film. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being part of the festival. I do like to end all of these conversations just by reminding everybody to be safe and to really take this seriously. Our hearts and thoughts are with everyone who is going through this right now, and it's really impacting absolutely everyone. So we take a moment to recognize that this is not an easy time for a lot of people, and thank you for joining us. And we hope you'll join us for many of our upcoming events. And just to share what's coming up next, Next, our next is a conversation, Beauty, Self-Advocacy, and Disability, a cultural examination. Join us for that. Following that at 6 p.m., we have a conversation, Expressions Through Art. This is another panel. And then we finish up the day at 7:30 with Amy's Victory Dance, a fabulous film. And this is its world premiere. So please join us for that, followed by a conversation. Tomorrow is closing night. We'll be having a conversation with Judith Heumann and a screening of the film Bedlam. Thank you all, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.